We were actually doing a project for Headman Headers for a truck that they bought brand new back in '71, and one of the guys had come over to the shop and saw the Camaro there, and they asked what we were doing with it, and I said, well, we want to take it to SEMA, and he says, well, that has to be in our booth.
I think it's important to have a car in your booth because it's a better way of showing your product. You can hang it up on a board and say this is it and give you your aspect or the different attributes of that product, but to be able to walk over to this Camaro and say, hey, here's that swapping box kit. We got the headers right there, he's got the oil pan on, and he even went ahead and used one of our oil filtration kits, which helps them with oil changes and makes it easier for them. And people can then see it in real life what that part's all about, and not just an abstract view of it on some wall.
Building a car versus building a SEMA car, there's a lot of pressure with a SEMA car. You've got all of your peers and your mentors and people that you look up to, and you're trying to build the best car you can build, under the circumstances of what you have to work with. So it's really stressful for me, and doing the unveiling thing, I've never done it, so I'm freaking out about tomorrow, but it's gonna be cool. I think a lot of people that have seen the car have really loved it, but it is a challenge though.
I love hot rods, and every time I see a car in the freeway, I always try to catch up to the car and see what's different from another one, and get ideas. And yeah, it's a challenge. It's an emotion when you see a nice hot rod on the road. Since day one, I always liked the '69 Camaro.
You bond with a car, whether it's something you bought to fix up with your dad or your brothers or sisters or whatever, it becomes a part of you, So with Jose, he's had a passion for '69 Camaros. You go in his office and he's got Camaro pictures everywhere. And I think he's finally at that point in his life where he's able to build that car that he's always dreamed of.
I have other projects, but to me this is like the best. When I first bought the car, I already had a decision of what I wanted on the car. I wanted a car that nobody had.
You can't do anything unless you have some desire or passion to do it, at least do it well. You can create cookie cutters, but if you want to go to the next step and create something that people are going to just drop their jaw, then you have to have that passion and that desire to create something better than anyone else out there.
When I first heard of Rob, he was very highly recommended.
It's kind of cool to hear that, because you don't hear it a lot, but we get people that, hey, I was recommended, and so we've got a bunch of customers that are that way, but for someone to say, you were highly recommended, that means a lot to me. That means that I did something that was achieved that said that, I'm capable of doing this.
Rob has a passion for it. He can see the final product before it's done.
He has so many ideas, that he comes up to me and he says, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? Everything it's just, a lot of work of him and, a lot of decisions of mine.
When he came, he wanted a luxurious muscle car that had the best of the best stuff in it, within reason.
I don't know how to explain it, to be honest. Something that you're making from an old car, making it like to almost a new car, suspension, motor, everything. It's just gonna be amazing, and it's just like a challenge more than anything that I'm seeing in this car, yeah.
There has to be a lot of understanding and not letting what you want to do take control over what they want to get. Luckily with the owner of this car, he was very, very easy to work with. I would show him, you have A, B, and C options. Which one do you like? And he's like, well, I like this one. And then he would be like, what do you like? And I said, well, I like this one, and I'd tell him why. And then I would show him, and he'd be like, oh, we got to do it that way.
For a car to come and debut is, in front of the crowd that is SEMA is a big deal.
We brought Steven on this project very early, in the early stages of it. We had met Steven and his girlfriend Claudia at a race event and started hanging out, and he helped out with our truck, and I mean, he'd just show up and help. And I talked to Brandy about it, and I said, you know, I'd really like Steven to help me with the project. He's got the same focus and mental outlook on this car that I do, and he works just like I do. He's got the same ethics. I'm like, we're a perfect fit, but yet we still butt heads, you know, because we're spitting images of each other.
I love this stuff, and I would probably do it for free if I didn't have bills to pay.
But without him, honestly, I would not have finished this car. I mean, he was the backbone in getting the grunt work done. I mean, he did a lot of the fabrication stuff, and I mean, he's just as much a part of that as I am.
With the rendering, now it's a real car. Can't wait to see it done. And you know, I think my dream is really coming true, because I really wanted this project for many, many years ago that I wanted to do it.
Like when I first met Jose, no smiles. Like he was just to the point, not unemotional, but he was just, you know, this was a business deal, you know. And now that we've exceeded into the project, we've gotten as far as we have, you can start to see that this has now become a personal deal, where this car is starting to really grasp his feelings.
Hard to explain. I'm so kind of shaky and excited and everything, nervous. That's me right now.
He's going to see it for the first time with everybody here at SEMA as well. So I think his emotion level is going to be on high alert, because every time I've talked to him, he's anxious and he's excited. He's, show me pictures, let me see it, and I wouldn't show him anything.
Totally my dream come true. My favorite car, 1969. Cannot wait to see it open.
The reaction that matters is it's Jose. It's his car, because he's never seen this car complete yet. He's seen pieces of it. He's seen the door panels. He's seen the wheels put together. He's seen some of the engine parts, but he's never seen it all in one piece.
Yes!
Yes! Beautiful! Nice, very nice, thank you.
Now I used to do overhauls, so on D-Day you would give the car back to the owner, and that reaction really means a lot to me. I was nervous. This was probably the only car I've ever done that's made me nervous.
Okay.
I was stressing about today. Like,
Were you?
oh, I got up this morning and I'm like this. I'm like, I feel like I was gonna throw up. I'm like, what am I gonna do?
Just like me, my leg's still shaking.
I get emotionally involved with these cars because they mean a lot to me.
It's a work. Thank you, Ralph.
That's elected though. And his reaction was gonna tell me whether we did our job or not. So I think we nailed it.
Oh, I love it. It's just amazing. You know, everything is just beautiful. Just like a brand new car. 2017.
Well, he's got you to thank for it, because this guy did most of the work on the car. So this is kind of his debut vehicle as well, because he's never done a SEMA car before. So we're proud to have you on board with this one, buddy. Every car we've done has had a name, and this car, up until about a month ago, didn't have one. I kept asking Jose, I'm like, what do you call the car? Like, what does it mean to you? And he's like, I don't know. You know, I don't have a name for it. So we were joking one night, and I was like, 50-50. You know, and Brandy had asked me, she's like, what do you mean 50-50? I'm like, it's the 50th anniversary of the SEMA show. It's the 50th anniversary of the Camaro. We're in Hedman Performance's booth. It's their 50th anniversary at SEMA. You know, so I'm like, all of these things just started to fall into place, and it was like, then it became a joke. It's like, well, 50 here, 50 there. And so we just kind of, the name stuck, and then the biggest thing that really was the biggest 50 was it's 50% performance, 50% luxury. So we took both of those and meshed them together, and this is what we came up with.